Hey YouTube, in this video we're going to have a look at cooking some mud crab in the traditional way. We went for a trip down to the Logan River to do some mud crabbing. Got away a little bit later than intended because we're just starting to pack up, ready to load the boat, and this big shower of rain came through and I thought, oh dear, I don't know if I want to be out crabbing in this, a bit wet. But it cleared up and I had a look at the weather radar and there was nothing else in sight, so we went down and we had a great day, caught some crab. Worked out really well. Nice crab, really full of meat. I think he must have been ready to mould, he was that full. Anyway, we're going to cook him up in the traditional manner, boiling him in salt water. Let's have a look at how that goes. Now, before we start cooking this up, I'll just point out that normally I bring some salt water back from the ocean in order to cook it in, but where I was crabbing down the Logan River, the water's got a bit of mud suspended in it, and that tends to give the crab a bit of a taste. So I actually boil this up in fresh water with added salt. I find it doesn't make that much difference, and it's way better than adding a muddy taste to the crab. If you've never tried it and water you got crab out of is a bit muddy, give it a go and see what you think. Now I'm boiling up the water here to cook crab in. I'm only going to cook one crab at a time. I've got 1 tablespoon of salt in there plus 1 tablespoon for each crab that I cook. In this case 2 tablespoons of salt. I'm going to bring that to the boil before I drop the crab into it. Now I've got the kettle boiling as well because I split the amount of water I needed between the pot and the kettle just to try and heat it up a little bit quicker. Smaller quantity of water heats quicker naturally. The other thing to remember is you need to have a saltwater ice slurry prepared to cool the crab off after you finish cooking it, because we need to stop that cooking process straight away as soon as we take it out of the boiling water. So your saltwater ice slurry has to be able to hold as many crabs as you're cooking at once. Make sure you have the right size container full of ice water ready to go. Now I'll just point out the crabs have been in the freezer for about half an hour to an hour before I cook them. I'm not trying to freeze them, I'm just trying to put them to sleep. Well, for one thing, people say that's the humane way to kill them, but whether or not that's right, I do know that if you put them in the freezer first so that they're asleep, they don't throw their claws off when you drop them in the hot water, and that's a big bonus. Now I don't want to fog up the lens of the video, but I do want to show you that this is boiling fairly strongly there now. I hope you can sort of see that through all the steam. Got a strong boil on it. Next thing to do is to add the crab and then wait for it to come back to the boil and then time it for 15 minutes. Now just have a peek in here and show you that crab's turning red already. The water hasn't come back to the boil yet. Some people tell you the crab's done when it turns red, that's a load of rubbish. Other people will tell you it's done when it floats, that's also a load of rubbish. Let the water come back to the boil and then time it for a good 15 minutes. I've got a tablespoon of salt in there. I never use less than a tablespoon, but about half a tablespoon per crab seems to work okay. So a tablespoon for 1 or 2 crabs, 1.5 tablespoon to do 3 crabs, etc. If you're fishing in an area where you can bring home some nice clean salt water, by all means do that and make up your ice slurry with that. But if you are not, then you can use fresh water, stick some salt in it and some ice, and that will be just fine. Make sure there's enough ice slurry to completely submerge the crab, because the whole idea of this is to cool him down and stop him cooking. Once you've got all your water in there, give it a good stir around to dissolve all the salt. As soon as he's had his 15 minutes in the boiling water, we get him straight out into this ice slurry to stop the cooking. I throw plenty of ice in with it because the hot crabs going in will melt it. Now that's all prepared, we've just got to wait for the crab to finish cooking. Now I didn't video getting him out of the boiling water and into the ice. I use a pair of tongs, make sure you get a good grip so he doesn't drop back into the boiling water and splash it everywhere, and just gently put him into the ice water. A bit of common sense and be careful, because working around boiling water is quite dangerous. As you can see, one reasonable sized buck is all that we can fit in the bowl that we have available for cooling them down. You don't need a metal container to cool them down in, an esky will do fine, so You should be able to find something big enough to kill as many crabs as you can manage to cook at one time. Of course, the more water you have, the more ice you need in it. And one good trick is to save up your disposable plastic drink bottles, fill them with water and freeze them up. Gives a nice solid block of ice to cool things down. And once he's cooked, I like to open him up and give him a clean out while he's still in the cold water. Open his flap up there, tear that off, and then you can get your finger under the carapace there, and that will just lift off like that. I'm going to take his gills out. Tear off all his mandibles there. Clean out that cavity. Once he's all cleaned out, you can just break him in half like that. You've got 2 crab halves to spread around. Pull the claws off as you eat it, and that's it. There's a good feed in that. You can see how full he is. He's a good crab. That's the missing claw, or clipper rather. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Now when I was a kid, Dalman had an old copper boiler we used to boil up crabs in. We used to be able to fit 30 or 40 sand crabs in there to boil up at once. But there's only the wife and I, so we don't need anything that size. Not that we catch that many legal crabs in one go anymore these days. We've got a 15 litre stock pot from Kmart. That's about a 3 gallon pot, and that's enough to boil up about 3 or 4 mud crabs depending on their size, and maybe 5 or 6 sand crabs at a time. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this video. If you haven't tried crab cooked this way, give it a go. There's a million ways to cook crabs, and in the future I hope to show you some of those as well. If you'd like to see more of my videos, you can go to my YouTube channel. If you got something out of this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more of my videos, don't forget to click that subscribe button. Until next time, good fishing.